My kind of perspective on that fight is, I feel like number one, there's a weight class for reasons, and I feel like if we're basing if we're basing it off their last performances, Canelo had the better performance, I believe, even though he had a negative fight in front of him. Um, and I feel like Crawford struggled a little bit with Madrimov's physicality. Yeah, it was very physical, and I feel like he struggled a little bit with it. And then you got to remember, Canelo's a big dude. He's a big dude. He's strong. He knows how to use his size. But then at the same time, at that level, you can't write off fighters like Crawford because he's so skillful. So him going up two weights, he could defy the odds because he's a generational great. But if I had to kind of put my money on it, I'd put my money on Canelo Alvarez to win via a stoppage.
It's a tremendous fight. I think a lot of people don't know Canelo used to be one of my favorite fighters. So
Mhm.
um, I think he's a hell of a fighter. I just think that Bud is the wrong style for
Mhm.
him to fight against. And I think it's gonna be an easy fight.
You know, I'll give you the answer that the great Larry Merchant gave to me. Okay. No, wait a minute. It wasn't Larry Merchant. Let me turn this a different direction. It was not Larry Merchant. It was the dean of all boxing writers, Tom Hauser, the great Tom Hauser, Muhammad Ali's #1 biographer. I asked Hauser a few weeks ago, do you think that Terence Crawford can conceivably get a win against Canelo Alvarez? And Tom looked at me and said, did Ray Leonard get an official win over Marvelous Marvin Hagler? And I said, yes, he did. And he said, well, if Ray Leonard can get a decision over Marvin Hagler, then who's to say that Terence Crawford can't get a decision over Canelo Alvarez? And I think that's a very good observation. You're right. It's difficult for Terence not to engage, but he'll think about it. He's really smart. He is a terrifically skilled defensive fighter and an even more skilled offensive fighter. But he's fighting a larger man who has the greatest punch resistance in the sport. So it's an uphill climb.
And then touching base on that Canelo and Terrence fight, I think it's gonna be a good fight. If they do fight, I think that, Crawford is crazy. I think he's a little bugged out. You know, he going up in weight, 168. He was 147. He went 154 one fight, and then jumped. Now he's jumping up to 168. He a little crazy, but he want to be great. You know what I'm saying? He want to be great. He want to test greatness. You know what I'm saying? And you got to give him his flowers too. Not a lot of guys could do that. You know what I'm saying? You had a guy like Charlo, the little Charlo that was 154 for Canelo and ran the whole fight. You talking about an undisputed champ that fought Canelo and ran the whole fight. And then after the fight said that he is hard, that he didn't want to get hit, that he was like basically scared to get hit by him. So um I know for a fact with Crawford is not one of those. I know it's not a money grab for him. I know he gonna go out there and try to step on Canelo. But it's not gonna be an easy fight. Canelo's a much bigger guy. You know, Canelo does has pop. You know what I'm saying? I've been in there with him. I feel his power, so he does has power. But yeah, man, like I always say, man, it's good for the culture, man. It's good for
Gary, I'd be remiss. You had a meme that went viral recently, something about a Canelo Crawford. Was that just something you saw, or just...
It was funny as hell. It was funny. I feel as though, like I say, the same way I felt about Caleb Plant when he fought Canelo. If he's in 15-round shape, he got a good chance at getting Canelo. If Bud comes in 15-round shape, I think he has a good chance. I think he has to be a little more defensive discipline in this fight if he fights. You got to give him credit for being willing to jump 3 weight divisions to fight this guy. Not to mention, we are prize fighters, so he could be doing it for the bag too. You know what I'm saying? Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. But in order for him to actually win this fight, in my personal opinion, he got to stay in 15-round shape. He has to be in 15-round shape.
I think that was definitely on his conscience, on the back of his mind. I would say I think he was ticked off because of that not knockdown. Yes, it was a knockdown. And Terence he never touched the canvas. That was his first time. And it also comes with the fact that Terence is just, that's his mentality. He's tough. A little bit of me moving forward. That's what scares me about the Canelo fight, to be honest with you. Because
he ain't going back down.
Tough.
He ain't going back down.
No,
No,
he's not.
he ain't
He's
going
not going back, and he's tough. And that's what scares me about that fight, because you don't need to be trading with that bull. Like, I know you're strong, but that dude is naturally strong, and he's been at his weight class for a very long time. So he's acclimated. You're not. You don't need to be trading with this guy at all, regardless of how the fight is going.
Look, I mean, I've been in this game for such a long time, and I like to say I'm a historian. There's never been a good little man that beats a good big man. It hasn't happened. I mean, the exception is maybe Pacquiao beating me, but that situation and scenario was like totally different. I was at the end of my career, and I was a shot fighter, and Pacquiao was coming up, and he beat me. But a good little man, which would be Crawford, just has never beat a good big man, which would be Canelo, in the history of the sport. It just now, if Crawford can do it, Jesus Lord, I mean, give this man, I mean, the title of being the greatest ever, you know? And that's probably the motivation for Crawford. That's probably the motivation for his camp, for his, for his corner, for his trainer, is that, look, if you beat Canelo, you can go down as one of the historical best fighters ever on the planet. I mean, that's enough motivation for any fighter. So, but I just don't see it as a fighter. I just don't see it. I mean, Canelo is a big puncher. Yeah, he walks on quicksand, and that's one thing that Crawford can use against him. But the pressure of the heavier guy. Canelo will be 200 pounds up in that ring. So it's a tough fight. But look, I give all the credit to Crawford. If he pulls that one off, Jesus, he'll be the messiah of boxing, of fighters,